Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello and welcome to episode 116 of the Go Get That podcast. We were just churning through these episodes. It's Valero week. Yay. Love Valero week. What an intro that is, by the way. Anyway,
Hold on.
we are 1 week from the Masters, and golf's in a interesting spot per usual. The state of the game is always worth talking about, worth thinking about, but this week I'm sure we'll get into state of a game for a specific someone leading into Valero, and I guess there's a couple names in this Valero field that are quite interesting, but obviously most of you folks are here for one, the only Ludwig Aubert. But regardless, whole crew's here. How are you guys doing today?
Happy to be here. Jordan's back at the Valero. Didn't play it last year, which was interesting. Excited for this week, actually, after doing, some research. I think it is a course that I don't know if it fits him great, kind of as Bob's previously alluded to, but there's a lot of wedge shots at this golf course. And what has Jordan Spieth struggled with as of late? Wedges. So
yeah, and
that'll be
this
nice.
This is one of the weirdest courses on tour. I mean, it's really not comparable to any TPC. It's not comparable to any course, I feel like, on the tour. It's such a weird one-off. You see a lot of winners here that, well, simply put, don't really win anywhere else. I mean, you see a lot of winners here that don't win all the time. It's almost like it's sort of a fluke. One of the fluker weeks on tour. Some interesting stats. Jordan finished runner-up in 2015. He obviously won 2021. He missed the cut a few years ago. I do feel like there is something to be said about this tournament and how players are playing coming in. So I think it is interesting from a standpoint of, well, Corey Connors was playing really well when he won that first time. I haven't looked at his stats for the other time, but because he's won this twice, right? Yeah. So but yeah, it seems like it's pretty evident of how players are playing coming in. I don't know whether it's a week before the Masters thing, because this trend actually goes all the way back to when it wasn't even played at the same golf course, I believe. If it was, or has this always been at the same golf course, or am I thinking of Houston?
Houston just changed. It's been at TPC San Antonio for a while.
All right, well, I guess that proves my point just the same. Jordan Spieth has played well here on years. He's playing well coming in. He played well here in 2013, played well here in 2015. He won in 2021. He did not play well 2 years ago. So even though he wasn't playing horribly, but
just couldn't putt.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it. It's really I don't want to say it's a bad course, but it probably is the worst possible choice for Masters pre-week, I feel like. I mean, nothing about this course I don't think really fits Augusta trends. Greens are different. Again, as you said, a lot of wedge shots. There aren't as many wedge shots at Augusta. And just a weird, like, just completely different grass types. I mean, they're playing this in the middle of Texas, with a lot of rye and a lot of you have to read a lot of what's it called? You have to read a lot of grain. Greens at Augusta are not grainy. They're as smooth as can be. So very interesting. Very interesting. The fact that it's never been moved and never been talked about, I feel like, is interesting. But yeah, I know how I usually give sort of long and overly commented first thoughts. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think given those trends, this is not ideal. I mean, Spieth has not been playing well coming in, but again, I don't really think. I feel like this is one of the first weeks in a while where I don't really care if he wins or not. I just want him to rise that chance to win the Masters from 0 to a little bit higher than that.
That's well said.
That is very well said, and you touched on sort of how interesting, I guess, the course is in terms of course fit. Does anybody have a guess on what Data Golf think is the most commonly correlated golf course?
Is it in Texas?
No.
Okay, that's weird because Texas golf courses play very Texas-y.
I have a guess.
Okay.
Pebble.
Pebble is 12th.
Okay.
Let me go with Ranch.
Ranch, 9th.
Is it a course that we're playing? Because I know they have some courses on there we don't play anymore. Is it a course we still play?
It is a course that we still play. Yes.
Is it a course that Jay Spieth plays?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
What is it in the spring or the summer?
It is in the fall.
Oh Lord.
It was very
What?
popular amongst the
Shriners?
Yes, Summerlin.
Well, Spieth's played well there before.
Well, so to that point, so there are, as Jordan pointed out, there are some courses on here that aren't played at anymore, but Spieth played well at actually quite a few of these. Summerlin, Monterey Peninsula is number 3.
Yeah.
I don't know what Brown Deer Park Golf Club is, but that's number 2. Yeah.
What is it? What'd you say?
Brown Deer Park Golf Club.
Sounds.
We're gonna do some research here.
That sounds like one of the EA made up courses.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
St. George's Golf and Country Club. Nine Bridges is number 7. And then Craig Ranch is 9th. Colonial's 11th, Pebble 12th, Riviera 13th.
I really
Kapalua
do
15th.
miss Nine Bridges.
Guess what's at number 20?
What?
Augusta National Golf Club.
There's the only similarity I see is I think this is the only similarity. Valero's kind of tough around the greens than Augusta is, but it's completely different grass types, as Bob said.
The only similarity I see is that they're both in the southern part of the United States.
Yeah.
That's all I've got for you right now.
Well, do you have any guess at the least correlated course? This is
Again, is it a Spieth course? Is it a course we still play?
It is not a Spieth course. I believe it is a course we play.
Okay, so I was gonna say
Gosh.
the Century. So no, not the Century.
No, Century is 15th.
What, Sea Island?
No. Think shoot. I actually don't know. I think it hosts Mexico.
Oh, Vedanta?
But it might also host what's that other event?
Is it like an
Chapultepec?
alternate event?
What was the event they used to host in November that was in
Sherwood?
Mexico?
No.
Hovland won there.
Oh, the World Wide
Oh.
Web, Mayakoba.
Yeah. El Camaleon Golf Club.
Yeah.
Is that where they had it?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
No, I thought the Mayakoba was played at Mayakoba Country Club. I thought it was. Like, I thought the course was called-
El Camaleon's the Mayakoba, I'm pretty sure. I think.
Is it? Well, they don't play there
it's-
anymore. Liv
It's
stole
El
it.
Camaleon Mayakoba Golf Course.
Interesting.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that rounds
Well,
out
that was
the bottom, along with like Bethpage Black, TPC Potomac at Avenel Farm, River Highlands, Sedgefield.
Yeah, no, I mean,
TPC Sawgrass. But so it is a very unique golf course, and as Jordan was pointing out, a lot of wedge shots, which frankly is a good thing because Spieth J needs a lot of practice with a lot of wedge
Yeah.
shots.
Yeah.
And if we talk about the Masters, because that's what's really important, as you kind of brought up there, Bob. 11 of the last 11 Masters winners have gained 18 shots tee to green in their previous 4 events, leading into the Masters.
How many would Spieth need to gain this week?
Well, this is a good game. I know Jordan already knows, but what would be your guess?
So it on total, he has to gain
18 in the last 4 events.
Okay, I mean, I'm currently looking at negative for the last 3, or around even. I don't think I mean, his irons and wedges have just been so poor recently that I don't think it would be possible for him to be. He hasn't driven the ball well enough for me to be like, okay, that cancels out the irons and wedges. I'm gonna go like between 15 to 20.
Yeah, he needs 19. He's at about -1 right now. That's quick maths, but he's about -1 tee to green the last 3 weeks.
Just need a
Which
scout
makes
week.
sense because it's a T30 miscut. Like he's not.
So what you're
playing
saying
well.
is we're gonna need like a Rich Beam type situation to win the Masters.
What I'm saying is he's gonna need a performance
Unlike
this
any other.
week to fit trends that have correlated to success next week for the past over a decade. And that is tough. And you
The hard
talk about
truth, then.
moving the chance of success from 0.0 up. Based on this one stat, he needs to do almost the impossible to do that. But I think there is something to be said about his success at Augusta National. But it all comes back to this week, I think specifically at this Oaks course. Do we see some green data golf bars in the off the tee approach around the green game?
Well,
and that's if we don't, there's 0.0 going into Augusta.
There are
Maybe
positives going into Valero, I believe. Number 1, there's good vibes here. Number 2, it's in Texas. Number 3, there's no Scott, which means Spieth won't be mentally destroyed by watching Scott be -333 or anything like that. But that's about all I have. And I do think that as much as we do say that this has no correlation going into Augusta, I think that I do believe right now going into Augusta, there is as close to a 0 as you can get. Like something needs to be seen that's different. You just really can't walk. You can walk into the Masters in top 10. You can't really just walk into the Masters with nothing and win. There has to be a level of confidence. I mean, you look at all the Masters winners, you don't see too many fluke champions.
Mr. Cabrera.
But Mr. Cabrera historically has played very well at Augusta, and he's also like, he's not the worst player of all time. I mean, I feel like I don't put Cabrera in the Beam and the like Walker category by any means of major champions.
Have to see the odds. I wonder what the odds were for Cabrera and the Immelmans.
Very interesting. But yeah, no, I think that there's no choice. There has got to be some green bars on datagolf.com this week. And I think that I think the good thing is Spieth knows that. I would really hope he does. Because we said you couldn't walk out of Valspar with a missed cut. Well, you really can't walk out of here with a missed cut. That would be 3 straight. Has he even ever missed a cut in 3 straight events?
Question. I was gonna say.
Has he ever missed the cut in 3 in a row?
So
my answer would be no. I doubt it.
I doubt that as well. He has missed it in 4 of 6. That was last season. Yeah. It's been a lot of missed cuts within the last 2 years from a guy preaching consistency.
Well,
No.
The
Well,
answer
okay,
has
so
to
I
be-
guess count the 2020 season. He missed at the Northern Trust to end his season, and then he started the 2021 season at the Safeway, which was a brutal miscut, if you remember
nice.
correctly, and then promptly put up an epic performance at the U.S. Open at Winged Foot. Wow, that's impressive. He lost 3 shots a round out there. That's
Well, you shoot 81, that'll happen.
yeah, that's massive. And then 4 months, 6 months later, won the Valero, which is crazy to think about. But
He was 14 over at Wingfoot, was it?
yes, a lot over.
A
Very
lot.
much.
He added him up at the foot.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, he did. Yeah, he's never missed 3 cuts in consecutive weeks like that.
Well, that
Even in
won't happen this year.
2017, he had a stretch where he missed the cut at the Houston Open and then T11 at Augusta, and then missed cut at the Players, missed cut at the Byron Nelson.
Yeah.
But he didn't play a lot of golf in that stretch.
So here's my question. If let's say I guess you can't really compare trends just because it was a complete off year, but let's say he does play poorly this week. Forget a missed cut. Let's say he finishes like T40 and can't hit a wedge or an iron. How do we feel in comparison to the Masters after Winged Foot? Do we feel worse? Less confident?
No.
Same chances, relatively. Definitely not less confident, but like he had no chance probably going into that fall Masters, and he'd have probably no chance going into this one. He's still, even if he were to miss the cut this week, he's a better player now than he was.
Yeah, I think
That's
there'd be a
true.
different expectation. The 2020 Masters, I felt like, or that era of watching Jay Spieth was very much this shot could go so far left or so far right or right next to the hole, and you have genuinely no idea. It's very much a surprise wherever the ball ends up. This version of Jay Spieth feels a little bit more predictable on a shot by shot basis.
That's fair. That's actually that's a very good point.
I mean, you remember 2020, he would make 3 birdies in a row, but you knew the water ball or the OB shot was coming.
Oh my God. The OB balls on like the 12 to 15 stretch were the most inevitable things I can remember in Spieth time.
Yeah. It'd always be a great round too. 3-4 under.
Yep.
Piecing it together
the
somehow.
RBC
and
made
then
that
right.
7. Colonial, he did it. I mean, my Lord.
Yeah. And I think now, obviously, in recent months, there are a few T-balls in the bag that are kind of out of proportion. But
yeah, but now
I feel a little bit more confident with him hitting it off the tee in general.
And I feel like the predictable points now are negatives, right? Like it's almost like you're looking at an 100-yard wedge with a false front, and you're like, I can guarantee you this will be a sloppy bogey in some form.
That's so sad that that's kind of the truth.
Whether it's a 50 foot long, whether it's 50 feet long in 3 putts, or he of course spins it off the front of the green and then puts it to 7 feet and can make the putt. Like, I feel like it's just like you can just see that. And it's sad because it's coming with a wedge, right? Like, I feel like the most predictable scores he makes right now are with wedges, and they're not in the right direction. So, I mean, on limiting bogeys with inside 150 alone, that's going to save him multiple shots a week. So yeah.
Not just the bogeys either. He's not making birdies.
Yeah.
Like he's not hitting it close, or he's hitting it to 35 feet. Like, I don't even know if it's the bogeys necessarily. It's just he 120 out to 40 feet. And like, they're not close. Like, I mean, he's landing it way short. Some of them have been online, but I mean, they're getting the club wrong or whatever it is. He's not hitting it tight enough, which is good. I mean, this week he'll get a ton of opportunities, which is nice.
Yeah. And he's I'm sure he's very much aware of this and working on it, right?
We need
Oh,
results.
yeah, definitely. But
The comment about results being closer than where the game at, I think
Mhm.
rings true for any golfer, but
Yeah.
it's also like,
Mhm.
okay, let's see it then. And he has history suggests he has kind of played his way out of an opportunity to win the Masters, in theory. That being said, his course history around Augusta is great, and he's a streaky player in the sense that he can get hot as quickly as things can go south. They can also go north, I'd say. I think we've seen that recently.
Yeah. No,
And
yeah,
so
for
if
sure.
the iron play reverts towards anything close to not even his career average, but just his baseline average over the last 2 seasons, and the putter makes a few putts, I think he T8s or
At the
T.
end of the day, there's 2 points I want to make. One, you can course history your way around Augusta to a T8. You can't course history your way around Augusta to a win. That's just the reality of the Masters. You see the same guys who aren't playing well find a way to sneak their way into the top 10. That doesn't happen at the winning level. And secondly, I mean, you do speak because we're not negative Nancy's when we don't have to be. Like Dan is very right about it being able to go as quickly north as it can go south or vice versa. I mean, you look at where we were, the front 9 of Genesis to here, that's 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how big of a gap that is. So if that can happen so quickly in a downward spiral, I mean, at the end of the day, he once was the best player in the world. Like he's got that talent, and a switch can flip. But I feel like there's got to be something that he's improved on over the last 2 weeks that we see this week from to have a chance going into next week.
Well,
I love the
and to
optimism,
that point,
fellas.
thank you. I
Do you have any
refuse
optimism to toss in there, Jordan?
The optimism is I think he can improve, but there's just too many bad shots in the bag.
I was gonna say I refuse to believe that he's that far from where he was at the beginning of the season. Phoenix, Century,
Again, I
even
believe
go all
most
the
of
way
it's
back
mental.
to Hero. But I just don't he doesn't have enough time to get to a spot where he's gonna win at the Masters. And of course all that changes when he gains a shot and a half on approach per round this week or something like that. All that optimism, all those numbers go straight out the window because when the irons get hot, they get hot. But it just he's running out of time. He's ran out of time basically.
Yeah.
And that's disappointing, but might as well give it a crack and see what happens. It's actually a decent field at Valero. I mentioned kind of
Yeah, I didn't even know Rory was playing.
Rory's here, Aubert's here, Fitzpatrick, Morikawa, Matsuyama, Corey Connors, Ryan Harmon, Max Homa, Ben On, Fleetwood's here, Adam
Really good
Scott.
field.
I think it's the Akshay Bhatia's here. I think it's the best per VC 606 on Twitter. I believe it's the best non-signature event field of the season so far, which is a little surprising.
Very, but yeah.
But it's a great field. It really is. And it's funny because Data Golf gives Jordan Spieth a 3.5% chance to win, which is the 3.5% chance to win, which is the third best behind Rory and Ludwig.
Yeah.
I find that surprising considering Fitzpatrick played well at the Players. No. Where did he play well recently? Valspar? Must have been the
Who?
Players.
Was
He
it
took
Cognizant?
Fitzpatrick. He
Oh,
took
it
the
was the
weight out of his
Players.
driver.
Yeah,
And
it
he
was the
started
player.
playing better. Must have been the Players.
Yeah.
Morikawa's been meh, but Hideki was cooking at Riviera, won there, and then played some good golf recently. Brian Harmon played well at the Players. Max Homa, I think, has played better as of late.
Well,
They
Brian
split-
Harmon can always play well.
Right. That is true.
It's an alpha presence he brings to the course.
Mm-hmm. He
That's well
puts
said.
he unleashes fear into the rest of the field.
Do you think guys are more scared of the name Harmon B or Spieth J on the leaderboard?
Harmon B.
I mean, that's not even questionable. I mean, there is something to be said about Harmon. When that man's at the top of the leaderboard, he refuses to go away.
Yeah.
Like refuses.
Harmon
No,
just
I think-
boat raced the field at Liverpool.
Yeah.
He beat
Like, he
everybody
doesn't-
by what, 5?
He doesn't play down to his competition. Like the odds are stacked against him sometimes. I mean, when you're going against Scott, you're probably not going to win, but he didn't make Scott's life easy.
No, he did not. I think that's valid. I mean, how about if players see L, this is a fun game. So if they see L Aubert up there or Spieth J, which one are they more afraid of?
At the Masters or here?
Um,
Actually, I think this answer is pretty similar to both. I mean, I think Spieth J definitely, just because I feel like if he is near the leaderboard, that means he's not hitting as many iron shots like he has been recently, which is one thing. And secondly, Aubert really hasn't, besides what tournament did he win again?
oof. This is tough. He won the RSM Classic.
Yeah. Besides that event, he's been near the leaderboard a lot, where he has just disappeared into thin air in the last 20 holes of the event.
He's been really consistent this year, though. Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing good golf, but yeah, I
Five
don't
straight
know.
top 25s.
9th in the world.
Yeah.
6th in the DG ranks.
Yes, I saw that. Some might call him underrated then.
Yeah, I mean, that's my terminology.
Yeah. No, I
It's
agree.
crazy though. If you would have told me he's been top 25 his last 5 events, I'd be shocked. Granted, I haven't been watching a whole lot of golf because Spieth's been missing cuts, so I haven't really seen what's transpired on the weekend. But good for Ludwig. He's been playing really good, and I haven't known because I haven't been watching.
Has anyone seen the tweet that Mr. Schleber put in the main chat?
I haven't. Is it a good
From
one?
Mr. Brian? It's a beautiful one. Rory this week is going for the career peak before the major Grand Slam. He's won the week before every major besides Valero.
Good for Rory.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. It's a weird fun fact. Yeah, he won the Wells Fargo in 2021. He won the RBC in 2022. He won the Scottish Open last year, but he's never won Valero. And Valero has been before the Masters for many a moon since the Houston. That was a while ago though. Jeez, that was like 2014.
I'll go out on a limb and say Rory will not win this week.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a Rory course.
Well, it is a wedge course, so
It's actually
been better,
sad.
but-
I think I was doing a little bit of modeling. I think it's actually not a terrible course for Spieth. Not now because his wedges have been terrible, but if he was hitting his wedges well, I think it'd be a decent course. I mean, he's played well here. I know Bob kind of says it isn't a course, but he plays well here. So maybe
well, I feel like he has had a lot of fluke finishes here. He's played well, but he's also missed the cut like 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
I think he has a solo 2 in 2015 as well. And then was awesome in 2021 when he beat Prime.
We do not
Tiger,
give
Chuck
enough
Hoffman down
of
the stretch.
we do not give Mr. Spieth enough of props. I mean, that was quite an impressive week from him.
When?
It was fantastic. He gained 4.5 shots a round.
Yeah.
Like that's
I mean,
serious stuff.
Chuck Hoffman decides to go skiing that week, and Spieth probably wins by. I mean, I guess who was the other? Oh, it was Wallace. It was Wallace.
Yeah.
But Wallace kind of faltered a bit, right?
Wallace shot. So Spieth and Wallace were tied going into Sunday, and Wallace shot 2 under, and Spieth shot 6.
Spieth, yeah, I assume we're talking 2021. Spieth won at 18 under, tied for 6th was 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best golf he's played since he's gotten out of the slump. Is it
And of course, it was the week before the Masters.
Yeah, played well at the Masters. He should have won that Masters, but he should have won like 5 or 6 Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
he already has 4 jackets.
Such is life.
while we're on the topic of mental blunders, I myself had a mental blunder as I decided to not put in my picks for the Houston Open.
Yes.
So
Him and I
have
had pretty good
given up-
weeks too. Yeah.
I have given up the lead. Okay, here. I had my list, so I have not looked at the leaderboard, but can you tell me like if I would have done okay?
You'd be
Sure.
I
leading
had
right
my
now.
list. Where is it?
Oh,
Yeah, you
I
definitely be
probably would, but let's hopefully I didn't. So it would have been Thigala. I would have
Okay.
used
he
my
didn't do
second one.
anything.
Did
It
he
wasn't
do
that
Did
great.
he do well? Yeah, I
Wasn't-
would have. I
wasn't
would have
sure.
used up my Thigala week. I would have gone to Ryder.
I'm
Ryder.
scrolling for a while to find his name.
Good to hear.
Good to hear.
T64.
Yeah,
And
and
10K.
the obvious unfortunate one is Batia was on my list, so that definitely
Yeah,
hurt.
T11.
Oh, that's I thought he was like T4 because I know he was
he
up
was
there.
solo leader
Yeah. Okay.
for a minute on Sunday.
I mean,
but
T11 at the Houston Open can't pay that much.
It doesn't. That's
It's
Okay, so I
200
didn't
grand.
leave too many points out there.
no. Noren was
Um,
T11, I think, and he was only 211K.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Me
so
and-
I
me and
barely
Jordan
have
had a nice
taken the
week.
lead. Okay, all right, that's fine.
No,
then.
you're behind on like peanuts. Like, what is it? 90K? That's nothing.
Yeah, that's literally just one place at an
Yeah.
event.
The problem is my hole that I'm currently in. I am
Yes.
2.4 million down.
Yeah.
I just got to make it up at this signature event. But I
Yeah,
actually have
that's
already
fair.
looked ahead to Valero this week. I don't have my plays yet, but there's a decently good chance I will be using 2 guys I've already used.
Interesting. You don't want to share them?
No, because they're not final yet. So I'll keep it to
Okay.
myself.
Well-
But 2 of the guys
well-
that I've already used, I'm very much considering using again.
Can you just share who you're interested in?
Oh, but I don't want to give it away.
Why
For
not?
this week,
Yeah.
As a strategy.
I have my list essentially already.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do not.
Well, I have
been
2 of my
busy looking
3.
at the approach skill to see how
I'm
pathetic
honestly
Spieth is from inside of
just-
150.
I'm gonna put them in right now just so I don't forget again.
Inside of 200, frankly.
I probably should use guys. One of the guys I was going to use this week is Morikawa,
Ooh.
but I don't really know if I should use a big name like that. Crappy event. Well, not crappy, but a lower money purse event.
Yeah.
This week's, I mean, it's a freaking toss up.
Again,
Yeah.
the Valero has
Long shot
had
winners.
weird winners. Man.
It's a tough
Yeah.
week too for us because like there's a lot of big names like in the field, but it's not a signature event. So do
Right.
you take the big name or do you end up going with maybe a smaller name that
I
it's
don't think this is a
tricky?
week you do take the big name, just because I don't think they have that much of an advantage over the field
Yeah,
with
that's
other
fair.
weeks.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Like any PJ Tour player can have a great week with wedges.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like you don't
What's-
have to dig deep with where some other courses demand that.
And it's interesting too is that the signature events are smaller fields. So there's a much better chance that a guy like a Xander, for example, can feel comfortable on the leaderboard and start to pull away.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Um,
so Jordan, you're saying that there's a chance we start to see some people get eliminated from this game for you going forward.
Would you repeat yourself?
Well, he's
Sorry.
gonna have to make a charge.
Like what I'm saying is that I have already used Scheffler twice. Bob
still
has
have a
already
Scheffler
used
used.
Scheffler twice.
Could
Bob
have
has
had him
also
at
used
there.
Burns twice. But for
Oh,
you,
Lord, sorry.
Yeah, but my Scheffler uses netted me
5 million.
$5 million.
Yeah,
We all had
used
Scheffler
them-
at the players though, so like
yeah.
That's true. We should
Yes,
just
Jordan could get back into it with another Scott Scheffler triumph that he correctly calls.
yeah.
I'm not too worried because I still the signature events is what's going to come down to. We still have RBC signature as well, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be a big week.
RBC, Wells Fargo.
I don't think we've talked about this, but I think we
saving Mr. McElroy.
Are we gonna do the first 2 legs of the playoffs, or are we not doing any playoffs?
It's a good question.
Because obviously we're not going to do we're not going to do the Tour Championship because that's ridiculous. But
I feel like there could be some strategy by doing the Tour Championship.
that's ridiculous. You guys would be cooked too, because I still have Scotty. I could use him for 20 million if I wanted to.
Oh, I guess the purse makes it kind of unreasonable. I don't think it's a field size thing.
No, but if I have Scotty and he wins $20 million, like
I agree.
What's the players? 5 mil?
4.5.
So let's just honestly, we could do the Tour Championship and just cut it back to a regular sized proportion.
I don't feel like doing the math though.
It would literally just be a fourth then.
What do you mean?
It would be a fourth. It would be a fourth of the prize money.
Oh. Do we want to do the Tour Championship?
We could.
I think we can make that decision in the next 2 weeks.
I kind of like the idea of just the first 2 playoff events.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't hate it.
You could still do the Tour Championship. You'd have to create a new purse, but then just do the shadow leaderboard. But even then, you want to pick guys that start at even because they have a lot further of a way to go than a guy.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't want to do the shadow leaderboard though. I would just
yeah.
I don't know.
That's interesting. That's a good thought. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I've thought about that a little bit, but yeah, doing just the 2 playoff events to end would be cool too because those are big purses.
Yeah,
so.
I'll probably have to save like my Rio hits a swoon a pick for the for East Lake.
Yeah, we're not skipping any weeks though. I have no plans. I will continue.
No plans to skip any weeks.
No. Besides, obviously, the Zurich. We're not doing the Zurich.
Oh, yeah, the Zurich. We have to figure out the Zurich. I would say, do we play the Zurich?
No. Because how would we even do the names?
I think you just maybe, well.
I don't think we're doing the Zurich.
But there's a lot of names in the Zurich that you won't ever use again.
Rory's playing.
Yeah, but then
we can do the Zurich. I'll take Alex Fitzpatrick for the price of his brother not having to pay.
Oh yeah, see, Bob just brought up exactly why we're not doing it. That's like when freaking who Spieth used to play with
Ryan Palmer.
Yeah, Ryan Palmer just grabs a big name every single year to make him money.
Yeah, they played with Rahm and played
Alpha Male. You said Alpha Male.
I don't play. Yeah.
He's a good salesperson. He's like,
shot,
I know the guy over at Comcast.
Yeah, Brian Williams. Brian Roberts.
That's his pitch to those guys.
Don't disrespect by incorrecting the name, Mr. Carp.
Right. Brian Roberts, Alpha Male.
I have one more Spieth thought before we go.
Sure.
And that is that as much as I don't like this course as a prep for Augusta, it most certainly exposes you. The leaderboard is very spread out. Good shots are rewarded, and bad shots are going to put you in difficult situations. The rough is not ridiculous, but it's not easy. And around the greens is tough. So if you're hitting greens, you're going to have a lot of wedges. So you're going to be putting them close and making birdies. But if you're not hitting greens and you're not hitting the ball well, you are going to be battling par. It's not like we say wedge course, but it's not like this is a Kapalua 2 under is poor round.
Yeah.
Like this is like you have to this will be very telling as to where Spieth's game is at. If Spieth finishes the week 6-7 under, I don't think that means he's out of the Masters by any means. But I think there also is a chance, like with the way Spieth's hit the ball, like if he hasn't improved, I mean, he could shoot 2-3 over at this course. Yeah. So it will be very telling. I'm excited to see how it is. I'll be out of town this weekend, but I'll try and watch as much as I can. Obviously, trying to get all things out of the way for next week. I mean, we'll have a live pod. I don't think if Spieth's in the conversation, we'll have any problems doing a Friday night pod, possibly. Could be a
Love to
lot of
do it.
content coming next week. So have
Could
to
be.
get all of my priorities set straight. I've already emailed my professors. There will be no Thursday appearances for me next week.
Respect.
I have pre-ordered 104 Fever. So very excited for that. I have the Motrin ready to go. So it should be again, Masters Week is the best. This is a national holiday. Should be at least. Honestly, the entire week, including the par 3 contest, should be free, work off, school off, but oh well. But obviously excited, but again, everything this week is all just relative to next week. Honestly, I can't say this about any other week, but I would rather him choke a 12-shot lead on Sunday if it means he T2s compared to a miscut. So it's all about the Masters. And again, Jordan always loves to have a great golf swing going into a major. All of his recent bad major finishes have mostly been because of the putter. So I do believe he's been very hard at work these last 2 weeks, and I'm excited to see what swing he brings out to Valero this week because I do have some optimism.
You have optimism?
Sir, hopefully the optimism is not dashed. One, really quickly, brought up a good point. Short game has not been Spieth level recently.
No.
If you're going to look at wedges in particular from the fairway, 150 and in, another thing to keep an eye on this week is how's the around the green game looking? I know it's different types than Augusta, but in general, that needs to be something that needs to start getting dialed in a little bit if you want to seriously contend at tournaments you want to contend at. And you just kind of reminded me of that as you brought up the approach play, because like you said, the Oaks course, like 10 under, typically the lead gets to about 14 under here, 14, 15. But it should play pretty firm. They're getting a little bit of rain tonight, which is disappointing, but the next 4 days are going to be pretty much sunny, upper 80s. Wind will start to blow a little bit Friday, Saturday. So it could be you get to 12 under and you feel pretty good about yourself this week. So just for some context about how to think about scoring this week, but hopefully we get some good signs this week, good vibes. We've got some good vibes, I think. So hopefully we can transfer those to Dallas, where Mr. Spieth is relaxing poolside, of course.
I was looking at the weather app. It was 90 today in San Antonio.
Certainly was.
Which is crazy because we are in the middle of a cold spell in Phoenix.
Yes, that is coming.
I wore a winter hat during a golf round the other day in Phoenix,
Rough.
Arizona.
You battled the elements though, and you played through it.
In late March. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, until then, until next week.
Yeah.
I got one last thing.
Oh,
My birthday is Thursday, so please play well.
oh. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Jordan.
Should we
you.
sing happy
Hopefully-
birthday on the podcast?
If he wins, you guys
Right
can.
now?
I will not be singing happy
We'll
birthday.
save it. We'll save it for the live pod.
Yeah, we'll save it for the
always.
live pod Sunday night.
With the chat can
Yeah,
the chat can join in.
The chat can join.
I'll be a few.
Yeah, we
deep
can
in
have
stuff on
we can
Sunday
have
night celebration.
our
What would be a good birthday present, Jordan, on Thursday?
we can I actually have a great birthday present for Jordan. If Spieth wins, we can bring our good friend of the program, Clay, onto the podcast to
Yes.
help wish you happy birthday.
Phenomenal. Clay was celebrating April Fool's Day today. I saw.
He
was.
was with multiple different messages.
I know he was having a fun time today. I respect it.
What would you like
Yeah.
to see on Thursday? Believe it's a par 72.
An early tea time would be nice because a late tea time I wouldn't be able to watch as much. So that'd be nice.
Gotcha.
Early late.
Hopefully, Mr. Spieth is not celebrating April Fool's Day on Thursday.
Yeah, that would be tough. Something in the 60s on Thursday. How about it?
That'd be a great
Absolutely.
start. I'd take that for sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
perfect.
Well then. Any other final thoughts?
That's it. I think.
I think
all I
that's
got.
all I've got. Until
Sunday.
next time.
See ya.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.